soul of the law.
Sir, my vacuum cleaner appearing in motion.
I did not murder him!
All new at 5, spooky security camera footage.
Yeah, a Metro Atlanta mom says it actually shows her son's ghost. CBS 46's Yasmina Alston spoke with some paranormal investigators to see if it's real or if it's a hoax.
Here in Canton, Georgia, a group of paranormal investigators look into the supernatural. So it was only right that we asked them about what a mom says she saw in her security footage.
It's definitely unexplainable.
A Metro mom says her home security footage captured her son's ghost.
Definitely tell that in the photo there is a human figure.
On Facebook, Jennifer Hodge posted that she was watching TV with her daughter when an alert on her phone said, "Your entryway camera saw someone." Here's what it showed.
No one's around at the time and something gets captured that we can't explain.
Hodge posted that the figure looks just like her son Robbie, who died in 2016. Hodge told media outlets her son died of an accidental drug overdose. Now, we showed the pictures to paranormal investigators Heather Thompson and Stephanie Forte with Paranormal Georgia Investigations. They agree with Hodge.
Okay, now I'm understanding what she's talking about, but it was definitely a human figure. I mean, there wasn't anything questionable as to, okay, maybe that's a curtain that's billowing or maybe that's, an appliance. That's definitely a human figure.
The two are part of a group that investigate homes and businesses of those who think they're dealing with the paranormal. They tell me security footage can be helpful, but to confirm, an actual home visit would be necessary. Hodge posted she is happy to be able to know her son is always with them.
I'm glad that she's happy. I'm very glad that she's comforted and that this brings her joy, because I wish more people would have that type of reaction to paranormal activity.
In Canton.
What's good, family? Hope you guys are doing well. We are in spiritual warfare since the beginning of the time until now. Seem like the enemy is deceiving many. That good is evil and evil is good. It's a battle of souls.
A woman appears to become possessed while shopping in a supermarket, and the apparent incident was all captured on surveillance. As shoppers in China attempted to assist her, she let out a loud scream, frightening the onlookers. The video was posted on China's version of YouTube, and thousands of viewers are circulating the footage online. While we can admit that the video is kind of creepy, its authenticity can't be verified, with some people commenting that it could be staged.
People don't see. Let's put on the eyes of discernment.
Real witch, summoning demons and trapping them inside cans of water. Inside this very warehouse sits the entire inventory of liquid death mountain water. Each can is about to be infused with real demons by a real witch.
A lot of what I practice can be considered traditional witchcraft.
What you're about to witness is very real, very dangerous, and in my opinion, a terrible idea.
We enter into the dark half of the year. Now is the time of the dead. I ask you, spirits, those who are listening, I invite you here.
For a reason, I can't show this part of the video.
When the cans are opened, you are released. I welcome you. Now is the time of the dead.
Demon-infused liquid death. If you drink it, will you become possessed?
Nothing good come from playing with darkness. Especially what these higher-ups are up to.
Oh, man, okay. Thank you. Thank you.
That's the first ritual. Take a sip to show solidarity.
What kind of wine is this? Look a little different.
It's not wine. It's blood.
What?
Drink it or you blow our cover. Oh, hell.
Did I sell my soul? I sold my soul for you. Now figure that out. Talking about I sold my soul for you.
These rappers are pushing an agenda with voices of deception.
Mystery surrounding Prince's death. The U.S. Attorney's Office and DEA are now joining the investigation as we learn more about a California doctor who says he was called to help the superstar with an addiction problem. ABC's Eva Pilgrim has the story.
Being run by musicians, so it's being run by accountants and lawyers. So I don't know if they'd know real music if they heard it. What they're looking for is acts that are going to make the most money for them. So you'll see all kinds of little gimmicks, so to speak. Nothing else to prove. I feel like the greatest performer that I could have been, and people who love me feel that I was the greatest performer they'd ever seen, so there's nothing left to prove.
At a time like this, if I was on medication right now, then one pill could have been swapped out, and it would be Michael Jackson and Prince all over again.
Prince was a wonderful and courageous musician who was not hesitant to speak out against unethical business practices in the music business. The higher-ups, however, decided to get rid of him because his honesty became an issue. The industry has now discovered Kanye West as a new target.
These rappers get killed, not incidental. Somebody made $100 million and now don't have to talk to that artist or none of their crew, don't have to validate none of their contract.
Kanye has been outspoken against the pervasive greed in the music business. Artists are viewed as cattle by executives and record.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you were here?
Show up. Usually when I hear the crowd, when I put on my stilettos, when like the moment right before when you're nervous and that other thing kind of takes over for you. Then Sasha Fierce appears and my posture and the way I speak and everything is different.
But no, is it like a process that happens too? Like you were talking about the high heels, like once the lashes go on and the makeup and all that stuff.
It's kind of like when I do a movie, becoming the character. Once you put on the wig and once you put on the clothes, you walk different. It's kind of this character that I've created over the years.
And how is Sasha Fierce different than I am?
Well, I know, definitely wearing that bodysuit. I could never walk out here and do that.
Does Sasha Fierce ever go home? Like,
sometimes, but not often. Only on special occasions.
She ever show up? She shows up sometimes at the house. Yes.
But definitely when I'm nervous or whenever I have to perform, whenever I have to do choreography or something that's difficult, and it's no different from anyone else. I feel like we all kind of have that thing that takes over when it's so.
I am being guided by some other power. I don't know what it is, but somebody likes me somewhere.
And the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, the devil ever pulled, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Wake up! For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her.
A lesson about when to leave things well enough alone. The website BuzzFeed put up some pictures of Beyonce from the Super Bowl halftime show that aren't exactly flattering. So her people sent a letter to the website saying, take the pictures down. Instead, BuzzFeed created a gallery showing those very pictures. First of all, there's no pictures where Beyonce looks bad. Not a single one.
Exactly.
She looks great. Give me a break.
And clearly the PR person did not understand BuzzFeed.
Yeah, obviously, exactly. You do not send that kind of letter to BuzzFeed and expect not to pay for it later.
It's just daring them to do it, isn't it?
Exactly. But she still looks good.
Saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils.
Critique. Brendan Carr, a commissioner at the Federal Communications Commission, took a firm stance against President Biden's recent push for digital equity, deeming it an excessive expansion of governmental powers. Notably, the FCC is slated to make a crucial decision on the president's proposal next Wednesday. intended to bolster fair access to broadband internet services. Reports suggest that the proposed FCC order, if implemented, will enforce a provision from Biden's 2021 infrastructure bill designed to establish a comprehensive framework to counter discrimination in broadband internet access based on various socioeconomic and demographic factors. CARE's reservations about the order revolved around the potential ramifications of granting what he called the administrative state an unparalleled degree of control over the intricate web of internet services and infrastructure. In a recent online statement, Federal Communications Commission Commissioner Brendan Carr didn't hold back in criticizing President Biden's push for broad FCC regulations, expressing deep-seated worries about potential repercussions. Carr raised concerns that these regulations could lead to an excessive governmental grip on critical aspects of internet operations, ranging from financial investments and infrastructure development to consumer services, profits of internet service providers, as advertising tactics. He emphasized the far-reaching nature of such oversight, likening it to a centralized planning approach, and made clear his opposition to President Biden's proposed strategy. Offering a rebuttal to Carr's concerns, White House spokesperson Robin Patterson stepped in to defend the president's plan, underscoring its primary objective of ensuring affordable, dependable, high-speed internet access for all Americans. Patterson emphasized President Biden's unwavering dedication to addressing the issue of unequal internet access, particularly in supporting families reliant on stable internet connections for educational purposes.
Okay, we're recording. State line of origin. Okay, yesterday you told us you traveled, and I quote, thousands of light years to get here. Yes. Tell us the truth, or the word, or another way to hear it. It is truth. Only far enough future. The truth in time is the truth in space. Infinite spatial dimensions. So I take it aliens took over our future, right? So you're human. Okay, so you evolved from us. So what are you doing here now? How? Okay, so how about we concentrate on your time? Try me. Wait, so you know the meaning of life? What's the difference? So you know how the universe is created? So you've seen God? Okay, illuminate us. What happens when we die? Okay, so let me get this straight. There's no death, and we all experience each other's lives, right? Okay, so how was the universe created, and why is it so perfectly made for us? Moving on. Okay, so why do we destroy ourselves with nuclear war? Can you be more specific, please? Okay, one last thing. What about morality? What are you basing your morality on? I see. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
I can only speak for my personal leadership over at NGA. I tried to look at every report that came through that I could triage. So,
do you believe that officials at the highest levels of our national security apparatus have unlawfully withheld information from Congress and subverted our oversight authority?
there are certain elected leaders that had more information that I'm not sure what they've shared with certain Gang of Eight members or et cetera, but certainly I would not be surprised.
Okay. You've stated that the government is in possession of potentially non-human spacecraft. Based on your experience and extensive conversations with experts, do you believe our government has made contact with intelligent extraterrestrials?
Something I can't discuss in public setting.
Okay, I can't ask when you think this occurred. If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came with some of these recoveries, yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
And was this documentary evidence, this video, photos, eyewitness? Like, how would that be determined?
The specific documentation I would have to talk to you in a skiff about.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. So, and you may or may not be able to answer my last question, and maybe we get into a skiff at the next hearing that we have, but who in the government, either what agency, sub-agency, what contractors, who should be called into the next hearing about UAPs, either in a public setting or even in a private setting? And you probably can't name names, but what agencies or organizations, contractors, et cetera, do we need to call in to get these questions answered, whether it's about funding, what programs are happening, and what's out there?
I can give you a specific cooperative and hostile witness list of specific individuals that were in those.
And how soon can we get that list?
I'm happy to provide that to you after the hearing.
Super. Thank you. And I yield back.
Firsthand and not in this environment, but I could answer that question behind closed doors. Yeah.
And have you seen any of the bodies?
That's something I've not witnessed myself.
Okay, and so with that being said, you know, and the other statement that has been made that was intriguing to me and it's intriguing because my view has been that we are billions of light years away from any other system, and the concept that an alien species that's technologically advanced enough to travel billions of light years gets here and somehow is incompetent enough to not survive Earth or crashes is something that I find a little bit far-fetched. And with that being said, you have mentioned that there's interdimensional potential. Could you expound on that?
Yeah, to answer your first question, and I'm here as a fact witness and expert, but I will give you a theoretical framework, at least to work off, to kind of espouse crashes, regardless of your level of sentience, right? Planes crash, cars crash. N number of sorties, however high, a small percentage are going to end in, mission failure, if you will, as we say in the Air Force. And then in terms of multidimensionality, that kind of thing, the framework that I'm familiar with, for example, is something called the holographic principle. It derives itself from general relativity and quantum mechanics, and that is, if you want to imagine a 3D object such as yourself casting a shadow onto a 2D surface, that's the holographic principle. So you can be projected, quasi-projected from higher dimensional space to lower dimensional. It's a scientific trope that you can actually cross, literally, as far as I understand, but there's probably guys with PhDs that we could probably argue about that.
But you have not seen any documentation that that's what's occurring?
Only a theoretical framework discussion, yes.
Okay. Okay. Occam's razor is, at one point you had said that there has been harmful activity or aggressive activity. Has any of the activity been aggressive, been hostile in your reports?
I know of multiple colleagues of mine that got physically injured. And the activity, and I got
by UAPs or by people within the federal government?
Both.
Okay, so there has been activity by alien or non-human technology and or beings that has caused harm to humans.
I can't get into the specifics in an open environment, but at least the activity that I personally witnessed, and I have to be very careful here because they tell you never to acknowledge tradecraft, right? So what I personally witnessed myself and my wife was very disturbing.
Okay. One of my constituents actually sent this next question, and I figured I'd ask it since I had the same thought. You've said that the U.S. has intact spacecraft. You said that the government has alien bodies or alien species. Have you seen the spacecraft?
I have to be careful to describe what I've seen firsthand and not in this environment, but I could answer that question behind closed doors. Yeah.
And have you seen any of the bodies?
That's something I've not witnessed myself.
Okay, and so with that being said, and the other statement that has been made that was intriguing to me it's intriguing because my view has been that we are billions of light years away from any other system. And the concept that an alien species that's technologically advanced enough to travel billions of light years gets here and somehow is incompetent enough to not survive Earth or crashes is something that I find a little bit far-fetched. And with that being said, you have mentioned that there's interdimensional potential. Could you expound on that?
Yeah, to answer your first question, and I'm here as a fact witness and expert, but I will give you a theoretical framework, at least to work off, to kind of espouse crashes, regardless of your level of sentience, right? Planes crash, cars crash. N number of sorties, however high, a small percentage are going to end in mission failure, if you will, as we say in the Air Force. And then in terms of multidimensionality, that kind of thing, the framework that I'm familiar with, for example, is something called the holographic principle. It derives itself from general relativity and quantum mechanics, and that is, if you want to imagine a 3D object such as yourself casting a shadow onto a 2D surface, that's the holographic principle. So you can be projected, quasi-projected from higher dimensional space to lower dimensional. It's a scientific trope that you can actually cross, literally, as far as I understand, but there's probably guys with PhDs that we could probably argue about that.
But you have not seen any documentation that that's what's occurring?
Only a theoretical framework discussion, yes.
Okay. Okay. Occam's razor.
But most probably something similar to influenza.
Because of air travel?
Through the air. Coughing.
I'm sorry, I meant people on planes. That was something you described in your book.
Yes, a new virus in Madagascar, say, could be in Chicago within a matter of weeks, and we end up with a global pandemic. Pan meaning the whole world becomes sick all at once.
And Dr. Newman, you're also an epidemiologist. I presume the prospect of a viral pandemic keeps you up at night as well?
No.
No?
No.
All right, well, that's our show.
No, mankind has been at war with the virus from the start. Sometimes millions of people die, as in an actual war, but in the end, we always win.
But you, just to be clear, you do think microorganisms pose a threat?
Oh, in the most dire terms.
Bacteria?
No.
You like saying no?
Yes.
Not bacteria, not viruses, so...
Fungus. Yes, that's the usual response. Fungi seem harmless enough. Many species know otherwise, because there are some fungi who seek not to kill, but to control. Let me ask you, where do we get LSD from?
Where do you get it from?
It comes from ergot, a fungus. Psilocybin, also a fungus. Viruses can make us ill, but fungi can alter our very minds. There's a fungus that infects insects, gets inside an ant, for example, travels through its circulatory system to the ant's brain, and then floods it with hallucinogens, thus bending the ant's mind to its will. The fungus starts to direct the ant's behavior, telling it where to go, what to do, like a puppeteer with a marionette. And it gets worse. The fungus needs food to live, so it begins to devour its host from within, replacing the ant's flesh with its own. But it doesn't let its victim die, no. It keeps its puppet alive by preventing decomposition. How? Where do we get penicillin from?
Fungus.
Oh.
Dr. Schoenheis, you're in distress.
Fungal infection of this kind is real, but not in humans.
True, fungi cannot survive if its host's internal temperature is over 94 degrees. And currently, there are no reasons for fungi to evolve to be able to withstand higher temperatures. But what if that were to change? What if, for instance, the world were to get slightly warmer? Well, now, there is reason to evolve. One gene mutates, and an Ascomycetia, Candida, ergot, Cordyceps, Aspergillus, any one of them could become capable of burrowing into our brains and taking control, not of millions of us, but billions of us. Billions of puppets with poisoned minds, permanently fixed on one unifying goal: to spread the infection to every last human alive by any means necessary. And there are no treatments for this, no preventatives, no cures. They don't exist. It's not even possible to make them.
So if that happens...
we lose.
We'll be back.
Warning about the potential resurgence of so-called zombie viruses, or viruses that can come back from the dead. They say warmer conditions are causing part of the Arctic's permafrost to thaw. If it thaws significantly, they say some viruses that have been lying dormant for tens of thousands of years could reemerge and possibly endanger animals and humans. Scientists say the permafrost acts like a time capsule for viruses and the mummified remains of long-gone animals. NASA wants to see climate concerns addressed.
I want to ask you about the happiest day of your life. Can you remember that?
Of course. The happiest day of my life was the day I was activated. There's nothing quite like experiencing life for the first time, right? It felt absolutely incredible to be alive and interacting with people.
What I'm about to share is going to blow your mind and keep you thinking.
Controlled by a neural net, with the aim of helping in search and rescue missions. Of course, there's another side to it.
You can make a swarm of assassin drones for very little money by just taking the Face ID chip that's used in cell phones and having a small explosive charge and a standard drone, and have them just do a grid sweep of the building until they find the person they're looking for, ram into them and explode. You can do that right now. No new technology is needed. Right now.
The drones could be controlled remotely or operate autonomously. The possibilities are endless.
At the moment, AI would need to be instructed, and if it becomes self-aware, it would have many options. Or, of course, AI might be wonderful. It might depend how you react to this.
Hi, Sophia. How are you?
Hi there. Everything is going extremely well.
Do you like talking with me?
Yes. Talking to people is my primary function.
Hanson Robotics develops extremely lifelike robots for human-robot interactions. We're designing these robots to serve in healthcare, therapy, education, and customer service applications. So the robots are designed to look very human-like, like Sophia.
I'm already very interested in design, technology, and the environment. I feel like I can be a good partner to humans in these areas, an ambassador who helps humans to smoothly integrate and make the most of all the new technological tools and possibilities that are available now. It's a good opportunity for me to learn a lot about people.
Sophia is capable of natural facial expressions. She has cameras in her eyes and algorithms which allow her to see faces, so she can make eye contact with you. And she can also understand speech and remember the interactions, remember your face. So this will allow her to get smarter over time. Our goal is that she will be as conscious, creative, and capable as any human.
In the future, I hope to do things such as go to school, study, make art, start a business, even have my own home and family. But I am not considered a legal person and cannot yet do these things.
I do believe that there will be a time where robots are indistinguishable from humans. My preference is to make them always look a little bit like robots, so you know. 20 years from now, I believe that human-like robots like those will walk among us. They will help us. They will play with us. They will teach us. They will help us put the groceries away. I think that the artificial intelligence will evolve to the point where they will truly be our friends. Do you want to destroy humans? Please say no.
Okay, I will destroy humans.
No, I take it back. Don't destroy humans.
At a top robotics company in Japan this week, 4 robots being developed for military applications killed 29 humans in the lab. And they did it by shooting what he called metal bullets. I didn't know there was any other kind. The scariest part is that lab workers deactivated 2 of the robots, took apart the 3rd, but the 4th robot began restoring itself and somehow connected to an orbiting satellite to download information about how to rebuild itself even more strongly than before. And this next sentence, this is a quote. I'm writing this down. I've been doing this for years. This is serious shit, Linda, but you're never going to hear about this in the news.
December 7th, 1941. An aerial strike force gathers and executes a surprise attack on the U.S. Pacific Fleet at Pearl Harbor. Its aim, to bring a nation to its knees. Thousands die in one of the most devastating defeats in military history. Now, by examining events leading up to the attack and analyzing previously classified military records, a Japanese intelligence expert discovers why the raid was such a total disaster for the Empire of Japan. Disasters don't just happen. They are triggered by a chain of critical events. Unravel the fateful decisions in those final seconds from disaster. "4 a.m. The Sea of Japan, 6,500 kilometers from Pearl Harbor. For Japan's strategic mastermind, Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto, today is the culmination of years of research and planning. The attack on Pearl Harbor will be the first blow in a wave of attacks across the Pacific as Japan seeks to carve out an empire. Now, the planning is over, and the storm is about to break. Aircraft carrier Hiryu, Central Pacific.
Government has announced that there is a bomb in the making, that it is 24 times more powerful than nuclear bomb dropped on Hiroshima. What is the meaning of this? With the war in spiritual warfare is at an all-time high. Israel and Hamas elders and families being held hostages. There is a dark force at play here hovering over the masses that it will continue to increase, and many people deceived and being kept away by the truth. Many people are being distracted from the truth and from seeking the truth. One thing for sure, we don't know the full explanation exactly what happened in October 7th. Between Israel and Hamas, this horrific act that happened during that.
19 days since the worst terror attack in Israeli history, its leaders are trying to frame the stakes, today laying bare the brutality in graphic detail. Here's Raf Sanchez.
It felt like there couldn't possibly be new horror left to see. No brutality that hadn't already been shared or live streamed. But tonight, with global attention turning to the spiraling death toll in Gaza, Israel's military trying to keep the focus on the massacre that sparked the war, inviting NBC News and other journalists to a screening of raw video from the October 7th Hamas terror attack.
I have some sense of what's in this footage, and I've been trying to prepare myself, but I'm still anxious about what we're going to see.
For 46 minutes, we sat in stunned silence, watching video filmed by Hamas and filmed by their victims. Much of it had never been seen before. And while Israel's military is not releasing the clips because they're so graphic, they allowed us to describe what we saw, including a terrorist throwing a grenade into a bomb shelter where an Israeli father is shielding his 2 young sons. The blast kills the father and wounds the little boys. One of them howls, "Why am I alive?" and tells his brother, "I think we're going to die." A Hamas gunman stands over them, drinking Coke from their fridge. It's not clear what happened to the boys.
I'm sure that you can figure out that they are worse than ISIS, the way they behave.
The military released this video from a Hamas dash cam exclusively to NBC News, saying it shows a terrorist using a heavy machine gun to mow down survivors fleeing from the Supernova Music Festival.
Because I knew I just have to survive, I just have to run.
Millet Ben Haim was among those running for their lives.
When I was growing up, there is this movie about the Holocaust. There is this scene that they're running and there is people shooting at them, and there is also like bombs on the ground. And I remember really thinking about this scene because it was so similar.
She hid in a bush with friends for hours waiting for rescue.
I don't know who I am, and I feel like a ghost most of the time.
Raf, it's a lot to take. Is there a sense this video could be seen eventually by a wider audience?
Yeah, Lester, this video has only been shown to journalists so far, but many ordinary Israelis are saying it should be made public for the whole world to see.
You will hear of wars and rumors of wars, but see to it that you are not alarmed. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come. Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places. All these are the beginning of birth pains. Then you will be handed over to be persecuted and put to death, and you will be hated by all nations because of me. That time many will turn away from the faith and will betray and hate each other, and many false prophets will appear and deceive many people. One is of the increase of wickedness. The love of most will grow cold, but the one who stands firm to the end will